If you're seeing my face on this fine Wednesday, that means you're watching another installment of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, here to guide you through the elements we have in store. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. We'll be back after the news.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Wednesday, April 2, 2025. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is warning criminals that they have no safe haven anywhere in Jamaica. He says the security forces will be relentlessly going after gangs, those who import weapons into the country, and those who use them to commit crimes.
For many years, we have had an unsophisticated national security apparatus. We have invested in improving the sophistication of our security apparatus. And that sophistication is not only in the purchase of equipment, in the training of our officers, but also in building strong diplomatic country-to-country relationships that will help us to undermine the criminal networks that exist across borders.
Prime Minister Holness informs that in the last 4 weeks, major shipments of illegal weapons and contraband entering the ports have been seized. He also reveals that the downward trend in violent crime continues, adding that since January, there has been a 64% decline in murders and a 38% decline in all major crimes. The Prime Minister was delivering the keynote address at the Manchester Chamber of Commerce Awards banquet held on Saturday. The $2 billion emergency island-wide main road patching program is 80% complete. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, gave the update in Parliament yesterday. He said the broader $3 billion Reach Road Repair program was progressing steadily, with Phase 1 constituency-based works at 72% completion. Both phases are on track to be completed by June 2025.
The Prime Minister would have announced the $2 billion Reach Emergency program last year. It was not a patching program strictly, but included milling and paving and minor drain works. The program significantly relieved motorists and other road users and rehabilitated several of our main roads.
Minister Morgan also disclosed that the National Works Agency, NWA, would spend an additional $1.5 billion on road rehabilitation. This will be done through the quarterly patching program over the next 3 months to continue the work started under the Reach Emergency program last year. Still in Parliament, the Ministry of Finance has announced an extension of the Special Arrears Settlement Program until May 31, 2025. The program started in January for an initial 3 months to provide additional relief for taxpayers struggling with outstanding tax obligations. Giving notice of the extension, Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says the Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ has surpassed its $10 billion target, collecting over $10.5 billion in principal taxes.
The TAJ records show that compliance officers made over 30,000 contacts or intervention with taxpayers owing over $43 billion in principal taxes with associated interest, penalty, and surcharge of $49 billion. Of that, 90% of these taxpayers has expressed an interest to pay off their principal taxes. However, many taxpayers with very large principal balances have found it difficult to source the necessary funding to pay the principal taxes in the limited time given under the Special Arrears Settlement Program.
The Special Arrears Settlement Program is in place to encourage taxpayers to clear their principal tax amounts while receiving waivers on interest, penalties, and surcharges. Minister Williams says over $12 billion in interest, penalties, and surcharges are expected to be waived as a result of the program.
Since the program, Madam Speaker, over $615 million in interest, penalty, and surcharge has been removed from the system and represent just a fraction of the amount to be removed based on principal payments. The TAJ is configuring its system to automatically remove the qualifying interest, penalty, and surcharge by the end of April 30, 2025.
Residents of Frankfield and surrounding areas in Clarendon are celebrating the reopening of the Frankfield Health Centre after a $37 million overhaul. The 70-year-old Type 3 health facility underwent significant upgrading under the Ministry of Health and Wellness's Operation Refresh initiative. It is designed to revitalize and modernize health centers across the island. Repairs were funded by the National Health Fund, NHF. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the facility now has a roof with secure decking, infrastructure with modern disaster-resilient designs, and new furniture.
Air conditioning units so people can wait in some comfort. Improve the bathroom facilities. More doctors' quarters, more confidential areas. For the staff, a kitchenette where they can have their lunch. A fridge, a stove, a microwave. Simple but important for better worker satisfaction. An autoclave and all the things that you need. We committed to doing that under Operation Refresh.
The renewed health centre is now better equipped to provide essential health care, including maternal and child care, mental and environmental health, dental and pharmaceutical, along with general curative treatments. Frankfield, which receives over 6,000 visits from clients annually, is among 40 health centres in the Southern Regional Health Authority that have benefited from upgrades over the last 5 years. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining has officially opened the Mount Olive Farm Road in St. Andrew. Repairs, which include drainage, were done at a cost of $16.9 million under the ministry's National Farm Work Project. The newly paved 560-meter roadway is expected to improve access for over 2,000 farmers. During a recent tour of the project, Portfolio Minister Floyd Green highlighted that the road was one of several infrastructure developments in the parish.
We have done 5 road projects in the St. Andrew parish, over $81 million. And that is apart from a focus that we now have on coffee roads, where we have earmarked in St. Andrew an additional $31 million to do 3 coffee roads to ensure that our coffee farmers have access. So we're really ensuring that we treat with the farm road issue as we service these farmers.
In addition to road improvements, Minister Green says tractors and other farming implements will be made available to assist farmers in hilly terrain prepare their lands more efficiently.
What we recognize, there are a number of our farmers who operate in this hilly terrain. We have one handheld tractor at the parish office, but more are on the horizon. So when you're looking to prepare your land, reach out to the Rada parish office so that we can move with the times and infuse the technology in what we do.
And finally, with different stages of the ban on plastics already in effect to address pollution, climate change and other environmental issues, students are being engaged to take a more active role. At the Global Recycling Day event recently, the National Solid Waste Management Authority called on students across the country to become superheroes for recycling. The call was made by Executive Director at the agency, Audley Gordon.
This is a habit that all of us should want to take up, where we practice recycling as a way of life. Consider the amount of garbage trucks that the country have to buy each year or each period. Consider the amount of lands that we have to dedicate to landfills. We could use less trucks, have less acreage for disposal site, and cost the taxpayers far less in their hard-earned dollars if we practice recycling.
Mr. Gordon is also encouraging all Jamaicans to take responsibility for their role in creating a sustainable environment that protects our natural resources.
Instead of just throwing out stuff, we look at ways how we can reuse them or recreate them to make meaningful use of them in our local space.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
When you think of Jamaica, the first thing that comes to mind is the people. But what is it about us?
What makes us truly Jamaican?
Is it our warmth and hospitality? The way we greet each other with a simple wagwan or a bright smile? Maybe it's our resilience, our ability to find joy even in tough times. Or perhaps it's the unmistakable sound of patois connecting us, adding flavor to every conversation. Speaking of flavor, could it be our love for street food? The pan chicken sizzling on the grill, the soup men on the corner, the fruit vendors with their fresh, vibrant offerings.
Wait, I know you're excited, but what about our music, our dance moves, or rhythm that captivates the world?
We are storytellers, whether through folklore or everyday conversations. Being Jamaican is more than just a nationality. It's a feeling, a culture, a way of life. From the way we speak to the way we dance, cook, and connect, every part of our identity reflects our rich heritage and unstoppable spirit.
So what makes us truly Jamaican? It's everything. We are the culture, the energy, and the heartbeat of the island.
Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a neurodevelopmental condition caused by differences in the brain. Individuals living with ASD often have problems with social communication, interactions, and restricted or repetitive behaviors or interests, characteristics which usually begin at infancy. Up next, we see how one family navigates this condition with their daughter.
Slide. 1, 2, 3, go! Woo! Good job. Let's go into the play out, all right?
When she was about 6 months, I realized that she wasn't sitting up. She wasn't creeping. She wasn't making any attempts like that. As a newborn baby coming up, she didn't cry. She hardly cried and she didn't interact with me, really. She would make eye contact now and then. One of the signs of autism is that the children do not make eye contact. They tend to have sensitivity of their hand middles, their foot bottoms, and their mouths, oral sensitivity. Some of them take a long time to get used to changes, to different situations, to different persons.
Adriana would be on the moderate to severe level of the spectrum. And she also has something called global developmental delays, meaning several areas of her development are affected.
I listen to the... Good job. Good job. We're going to go to your favorite place ever, to the play field. Time to pack up, Adriana. Time to pack up.
For the child with autism, it's very difficult to move from one activity to another. Adriana has problems with those.
Well, I have to find ways to distract her, like I'll sing with her. I'll say a favorite poem or something that will distract her. I give her a toy that will distract her from what she's doing and get her interested in something else. Come, wait for your shoes. We have to put on your shoes to go to the play field. Come here. Come, we're going to the swing, going to the swing.
She likes to be actually free in her environment, and so any opportunity given, she'll be running away. And as such, the shadow is very, very important in her life in order to help her to know danger and to keep her on focus.
I've been a shadow for Adriana since September 2013. I help her with her academics, self-help skills, social skills. For instance, carrying her to the playground. In all areas, I watch her for the whole day that she's at school.
She won 2 of her events in sports that just gone, and she got 2 gold medals for that. She did a flat race, 25 meter. She won that race, and we had obstacle race, and she won that race also.
Sometimes it's a happy journey, sometimes it feels easy, sometimes it feels overwhelming, like you just can't go another day you know, but at the end of the day, as long as there's love for her, then you can find a strength. Adriana has a little sister who is like her big little sister. When Adriana should have been the one maybe helping to put baby to sleep, baby is the one helping to put Adriana to sleep. She will follow whatever Elisa does. She will listen. Her big brother, DeMarco, he's 14, going 15, and he has been, from Adriana was a baby, he wanted to change diapers. He wanted to take care of his sister, and he still does. Her daddy he's a good support too. Her dad picks her up every morning, takes her home every evening.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I would do it every day, every day. If that child is a part of you, whichever way life turns, whichever way things turn, be there for your child. Were it not for you, that child wouldn't be here. And if every father would do the same, just be there for your child. That's the basic law of humanity. Be there for your child.
Things can change in an instant while you are on the go. Caught up in your own world, things are happening all around you. Don't miss out on the most important update. You, pedestrians, look out before you step out. A message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
After many say, "I do," somewhere along the line, it turns out that they don't. If you happen to find yourself in this situation but are unsure of where to turn, our next feature has information you'll find useful.
A divorce is the formal termination of a marriage, which includes property distribution, support payments, and child custody arrangements. While often dramatized in TV shows, the process can be simple. In Jamaica, divorce applications are generally processed through paperwork. But who can file for a divorce in Jamaica? Well, you may apply if you meet one of the following criteria. You are a Jamaican national. You are domiciled in Jamaica at the start of the proceedings. You have resided in Jamaica for at least 12 months immediately before the proceedings begin. There are specific circumstances under which a divorce may be granted, but the only grounds for granting a divorce relate to the irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. Parties must be separated for a minimum of 12 months, regardless of attempts at reconciliation. Even if they live in the same house, they can still be considered separated if they sleep in separate bedrooms or no longer engage in sexual relations or household duties for one another. Special considerations apply to marriages lasting less than 2 years, and additional requirements exist when children are involved. A divorce order will not be issued unless the court is satisfied that suitable arrangements have been made for any relevant children. Divorce can be simple if there are no children, maintenance conflicts, or property partition issues. It is also important to note that these factors influence the cost for the divorce proceedings. Now to the application process. Step 1. Filing the petition. The petition is a document that describes the history of the marriage and the reasons for the separation. Once drafted and filed by your attorney to the Supreme Court, the registrar reviews it and certifies it as a true copy, affixing the court's seal. This certified copy is then returned to your attorney, who will serve it on your spouse. Step 2. Service of a true copy of the petition. Your spouse must now be served with a petition. A process server will be retained to deliver the document according to your instructions. Your spouse has 14 days from the date of service to reply by filing an acknowledgement of service stating whether the divorce is contested or uncontested. If the divorce is contested, a hearing date will be scheduled, and the petitioner may be required to establish all the facts stated in the petition, including the separation and the difficulty of resuming cohabitation. If your husband or wife says in the acknowledgement of service that they will not oppose the divorce, you may proceed to step 3. Step 3. Applying for Decree Nisi. 14 days after the true copy of the petition is served on your spouse in Jamaica, provided there is no objection to the proceedings, the petitioner may apply to the court for a Decree Nisi. This is the first order that indicates the dissolution of the marriage. The application can be heard on paper, which means that the parties do not need to appear in court. Step 4. Applying for Decree Absolute. 6 weeks after the Decree Nisi is issued, the petitioner may seek the last order in the divorce process, known as the Decree Absolute. This application is also reviewed on paper, so the parties are not required to attend a hearing. This is the final stage of the dissolution process, and the Decree Absolute serves as proof that your marriage has been resolved. Everyone's reasons for divorce and individual circumstances are different, which can affect the ease or difficulty of obtaining one. It's important to consult with your attorney for the best advice at every step of the process.
So Bunny, you renew your road license yet?
Babes, the road have me away. I can't even find time, but you know money have to make.
Because see, I shall out them money the back for late fee and record fee when you sit down make your road license expire upon you.
Well, transport authority so we can apply online. And that me I go to know.
Operators of public passenger vehicles and commercial carriers, renew your road license before April 1 and avoid late penalty. A message from the Transport Authority.
As each day passes, we experience the terrifying threats of global warming. One sector that experiences these effects on a devastating level is the agricultural sector. This next feature explores climate-smart agriculture and how we can go about making our mark in food security.
With a degree of increasing urgency on our actions to combat fast rising temperatures and slow sea levels eroding closer inland, what we do about climate change today will matter. The effects of climate change are far-reaching, and food security is one of the areas affected. As protecting our food security remains a high-level priority, climate-smart agriculture takes on increasing importance. This way of harvesting food uses better farming practices to reduce its contributions to greenhouse gas emissions, while increasing production output. Smart agricultural practices include reducing deforestation, better soil management, and intercropping. Climate-smart agriculture practices are intended to achieve three major outcomes. 1. Increased productivity. More food is needed to feed the global population as it continues to grow exponentially. Equally important is ensuring sustainable incomes for farmers, distributors, and key players driving the agriculture industry. Data from the World Bank indicates that 75% of the world's poor who live in rural areas rely on agriculture for their livelihoods. Number 2. Resilience to climate change threats. Increasing severe weather conditions caused by a warmer earth means more drastic impact on agriculture output. To prevent this from happening, farmers can implement these practices, changing crops and livestock to ones better suited to the climate, and using technology to develop resistant variations of foods such as rice and bean plants. 3. Reduce greenhouse gas emissions caused by farming inputs such as fertilizers. Sharply reducing the use of fertilizers that produce gases such as carbon dioxide and nitrogen through crop rotation practices is one green-checked option. To truly practice proper climate-smart techniques, the dialogue must be tailored to the different climate experiences across the world. In Jamaica's context, areas of major concern include the island's vulnerability to hurricanes, flooding, and droughts. The government has been implementing several programs at the community and national levels in partnership with regional and international agencies. The mission is to build climate resilience in Jamaica's agriculture sector.
We are investing $230,000 US in partnership with the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, for a pilot program on climate resilience, on the expansion and upgrading of seed storage facility at the Bodles Research Station. This is important. This facility is going to house the best quality seeds, including our own seed source from locally developed and indigenous landrace types for vegetables, cover crops, field crops, and legumes.
The Bodles Research Station is just one aspect of Jamaica's strategic plan to ensure sustainable crop production through proper seed storage. Planting crops conducive to the rainy and dry season is another climate-resilient food security measure.
Our goal is to encourage our farmers to plant more, but not just to plant more. We want to plant the heat and drought-tolerant varieties of crops, such as cassava, which are more suitable for our climate.
In the fisheries sector, several fish sanctuaries have been declared and fish farmers trained. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Forage Club recently partnered with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP to train 600 youth farmers and fishers on how to utilize agriculture practices that will withstand climate change and how to recover quickly from its impact. The 6-month pilot project will run from September 2022 to February 2023. A major part of implementing smarter farming practices is the collaboration of all partners involved in this sector. As more information emerges, followed by more robust action on climate change policies from countries across the globe, the agriculture sector will be in a better position to meet the food production demand.
We're at the end of today's show, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another lineup geared towards providing you with information on the government's policies and initiatives for building a better Jamaica. You may visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to rewatch this show or to catch up on the others we have on the site. I'm Theodore Henry, telling you thanks for watching from our production team here at the JIS.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.